Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
Hello, how are you doing? Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2021, so I want to wish you all a good new year, one that is hopefully better than last year. That's all we can really hope for, to be honest. I am wearing a beanie indoors, and the reason for that is because my hair is a bit of a mess. Like, look at it, it's all over the place. I washed it last night, and normally the first day or so after I've freshly washed my hair, it's just everywhere, unless I straighten it, but I don't like doing that often because then it damages my hair, so we're just gonna roll with it. Today I thought I would try out the new McDonald's Katsu curry chicken select, chicken pieces, whatever they're called. I'm not gonna lie, I've tried them already. I tried one or two of them the other day, and I loved them so much that I wanted to try them again. I think they're better than the normal nuggets. So really, this isn't actually a taste test, it's more just me eating the new Katsu curry nuggets and talking to you about my goals and just life for 2021. This is the bag that I just ordered. There's 20 nuggets in there, the Katsu curry ones, and orange juice, and I think I got some tips as well. So this is the little package for the 20 Katsu chicken McNuggets share box. It's definitely not going to be a share box, I'm going to eat them all myself. I would suggest you grab yourself a snack or something. If you want to, even pause the video and order yourself some of these chicken nuggets as well and enjoy a meal with me, because this is going to be just a chilled video. I'm not going to edit it too much, I'm just going to chat to you about life. But yeah, oh, they smell lovely. Yeah, let's open them. This is what they look like, different to the normal regular nuggets at McDonald's. If you take a piece, I mean, they're in the same shape, they're very hot as well. You can see they've just got a lot more texture on them, and they smell more as well. They're a little bit spicy from what I remember. I tried them a few days ago. These are very new. They only came out, I believe, on the 31st of December or perhaps the 1st of January. So I mean, I'm filming this on the 7th of Jan, so it's only been out for about a week or so. I'm not the biggest fan of the regular chicken nuggets of McDonald's. I really don't like them. I very rarely order them. I find them very bland tasting, I'm not gonna lie. The only chicken I love from McDonald's is the chicken selects, because they just have a bit more texture and a bit more taste to them, a bit more seasoning, and these ones have even more seasoning, of course, than even the chicken selects. And I like to be able to taste my chicken. I don't want to taste something that is just bland. So yeah, controversial, I know, but I've never been a fan of the normal original chicken nuggets from McDonald's. But these ones from the two that I tried the other day are absolutely divine, so we are gonna enjoy these. I've also got, like I said, some fries, which is standard. Big meal, but it's okay. One slightly annoying thing about these new Katsu curry nuggets is that they're not actually giving you a Katsu sauce with it. Like, they haven't made a new sauce for the nuggets. They just give out the sweet curry sauces, the dips. You can actually order, like, you can ask for any dips you want. Is it going to focus? There you go. I've never tried the curry sauce from McDonald's. I never try any sauces from, I mean, I've tried them, but I don't like any of the sauces from McDonald's. I'm a mayo girl, as you guys know. But I decided to try these with these new nuggets because I feel like you have to. I've also, of course, got my mayo, Heinz, because I've really grown to love Heinz, guys. I've always been a Hellmann's girl, but ever since my friend Frankie, and if you're watching, Frankie, shout out to you, she gave me a Heinz bottle of mayo for my birthday as a joke last year, and I've just loved it so much. I also did ask for a couple of barbecue ones because I just want to taste these nuggets with a few different sauces. But yeah, let's start eating. Oh, how beautiful is this? It's just a divine, look at it, with a bit of mayo on the top. And one cool thing about these new nuggets is that they really make like a crunchy sound when you bite into them. So they're quite hot, but I'm gonna take a bite anyway. They are so good. So yeah, let's talk about 2021 as we eat. Last year, as we all know, was a weird year. I had a lot of goals for last year that I didn't, manage to achieve, of course, because of the pandemic and everything that it resulted in. I'm not the kind of person that normally makes like a lot of massive resolutions. I used to do that when I was younger, and then obviously, as most people find out, I realized that I wasn't sticking to any of them. Normally I would stick to them for like the first month of the year, and then I would just fall back into my normal habits. So I understand that a lot of people probably don't want to have goals for this year, because I think we've all realized that planning isn't always going to go to plan, because unexpected things can happen, like a virus. But I'm also the kind of person who needs to have some kind of structure, some kind of, just even if it's a small goal, I need it in my life to motivate myself. Sorry if you can hear some noises outside. I'm filming this. Ooh, you might not even be able to hear it, guys, but it sounds like a very, very big car, like a fast car. Anyway, I'm the kind of person who needs goals, just like personal little ones for myself, to be able to have something to work towards. Otherwise I feel like I'm just wasting my life away. But obviously this year, with it still being, you know, the year after the pandemic started and everything, my goals aren't too big. They're goals that I think should be achievable without leaving my house, to be honest. So these are so good. One of the biggest goals that I have for this year is to work on my languages. So one good thing that happened last year is that I finally found myself a tutor, a German tutor. It's something that I'd wanted for ages. I finished the Duolingo tree in German in February of last year, and I still go back to it every now and again just to practice things that I might have forgotten and stuff. It took me just over a year, I think, to finish the German tree, and even though, in fact, I'm going to make a video about my, you know, my thoughts on Duolingo and how it's helped me and if I think it's useful. But yeah, as a summary, even though I definitely don't think Duolingo is enough to make you fluent, it did help me a lot. It helped me fall in love with a language that had been a part of my life all my life, more or less. Like, my mum speaks German, my mum's side of the family, my grandparents, my aunt, my cousin, they all speak German. They always have. Like, since I was a child, I would listen to my mum and my granddad like speaking German sometimes in the house. And I visited Austria all my life. Like, the very first place I went to, like I flew to as a child, as a baby, I think I must have only been about maybe 4 or 5 months old when I flew from Geneva, where I was born, to Austria to visit my grandparents. So I've always had German around me, and I used to not like it. I don't know why. I even lived in Austria, in Vienna, for 3 years when I was a teenager, but I went to an English speaking school, so obviously that's why I didn't really learn the language. But I've had classes in German all my life, and I'm going to talk about this a bit more in detail, like I said, when I make this video about Duolingo. But doing Duolingo helped me actually love the language and like realize how much I genuinely want to learn it, because I don't think you can learn a language if you don't love the language. You really have to love a language and fully engross yourself in it, like really be passionate about it if you want to properly learn it. You can't just say, oh, I want to learn a random language and then hope for it to happen. You need to love it. Anyway, so that really helped me, and then I got myself a tutor, a German tutor. I think it was around October of last year, so I've been with this German tutor for about 3 months now. Her name is Eloise. She's lovely. She's only a couple of years older than me. I think she might only actually be a year older than me. And fun fact, her birthday is only a day after mine, so I was born on the 29th of July. Hers is on the 30th of July. Obviously, she's a year older, but we really get along. We have very similar personalities, and she's lovely. She's a very good teacher as well. I've already learned a lot from her. I see her through video call, obviously, only once a week, and it's about an hour. And yeah, I spend the first maybe 20 minutes of it, normally we just spend chatting, to help me with just chatting in German, because I think that's one of the most important things that you can't really get from Duolingo, because Duolingo is good at teaching you new words and like, you know, helping you with your reading skills. But one of my biggest dreams in every language, like when I still want to learn the language, my goal is to be able to speak that language. That's the ultimate goal. That's the best thing about learning a language, I think, because the reason I want to learn new languages is because I want to be able to speak to people in their language. I think that's so cool. That's my aim. And so yeah, it's been really lovely being able to chat to her in German every week. And then obviously also later on we kind of focus on other things. You know, she might get me to read a text and we go through a text together. She also gives me homework. I told her I want homework, and she's really lovely. She gives me homework about like Disney princesses and Disney characters. She's very like accommodating. She knows I love Disney. She loves Disney as well. So it's just been lovely. It really has. And so yeah, my weekly lessons with her have definitely given me some confidence as well in speaking. And one of the first things that kind of she did in the first couple of sessions that we had was to evaluate my like level of German, because I never really knew. And I was so surprised to learn that according to her and some of the tests that I've taken in German, I'm between an A2 and a B1, which is incredible to me. Like, I'm definitely no longer a beginner in German at all, which for some reason I've always thought of myself as a beginner, because this language has been in my life for so long and I've always struggled with it. I just always assumed I'd be a beginner forever, and yet I'm not. I'm more or less in the middle now. If you don't know the language kind of levels, there's like A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2, and I think C2 is when you're basically more or less completely proficient. You can work in that language, etc. That is my goal with all my languages, is to eventually get to C2. But even just being like close to B1 is incredible to me. It's so exciting, and it's weird. It's something that took me a while to kind of adjust to and accept, that I'm no longer a beginner, that I actually know German, and I needed that confidence boost, which she has managed to give me. And yeah, so that's been really lovely, and that's something that I want to continue working on this year in 2021 to improve my German. Keep working on it, hopefully get to maybe B2 by the end of the year, or maybe even C1. I'm obviously going to continue my lessons with her, with Eloise. I'm going to try more ways as well. Again, I'm going to talk about all of this in terms of language learning in another video, but You know, you can't, you know, expect to learn a full language just by an app or just through lessons. You really have to immerse yourself in it. So I've been watching a lot of German vloggers, and if you have any German vlogger recommendations, please leave them down below. I know some of you guys are German. I also have some Austrian viewers, so yeah, if you know of any German speaking vloggers that I might enjoy, leave them down below. I do watch a couple already. I think it's like Minnie Mouse, not Minnie Mouse, I can't remember her name, but there's this German speaking vlogger who vlogs about Disney, who I love, and I watch her haul videos all the time. I've started listening to German podcasts as well, but yeah, any recommendations are always welcome. Also my French, I've definitely wanted to kind of take my French to the next level as well. So French is a language that I've known since I was a child. I learned French, fun fact, I learned French before I learned English. So there was a time in my life where my French was better than my English. I didn't know English well, and yet I spoke French perfectly. The reason for that is because I was born in Switzerland, in Geneva, where they speak French. So I went to a French speaking school, and my friends were all French speaking, but I haven't managed to practice it in years now. The last time I fully like spoke French and practiced French on a regular basis was when I did my A-levels. I did A-level French, and I got an A in it, and it was good. I really enjoyed doing it because, again, before doing my A-level French, I hadn't spoken French in years because we moved away from Switzerland when I was 8 years old, and then I kind of stopped speaking French because I just didn't have the chance, I didn't have the opportunity to speak French when I moved to Iran. And so when I then moved to England when I was 18, I did my A-level in 1 year. That's another story altogether. But yeah, I did French and it was so fun getting back into it. A bit complicated as well because my French level at that point was only to the level of like a child, because I'd only learnt, you know, as much as an 8-year-old child needs to learn, because I was an 8-year-old child in Switzerland that when we moved away from it. So yeah, I learned a lot doing my A-level French. I learned how to debate, I learned how to write essays in French, and fun fact, it was the only A that I got in any of my A-levels. I got a B in the other subjects that I got, so I got A, B, B, the other two being biology and chemistry, and you know, French was my only great subject, I guess. So yeah, I would like to do a bit more of that. I also have actually started seeing a French tutor as well through the same website. My French tutoring is very different to my German tutoring. I again see a French teacher once a week through video call, and it's more about just me talking. So with her we spend about 45 minutes just chatting, and it's been so good, it's been so much fun. A couple of months ago when the US elections were happening, we spent one whole session talking about the elections in French, which is something I never thought I would be able to do, but it was so cool to have a French person and then speak to her. And then if I have some obviously questions and some new words that I might want to see, you know, what they mean and stuff, I obviously ask her. But yeah, it's more of a conversation style class rather than my German, which is more about learning, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I really want to continue with my French, and it's really hard because my French is at a level where I'm basically fluent, so it's really hard to take it to that next level. The level that I want my French to be is to be able to just know everything. Like, I want my French to be as good as my English. I want to be able to read complicated books in French and understand everything, and that's not going to be easy. It's going to take a while. Again, there's some noises outside, try and ignore them. But yeah, I have to be realistic. I know that even with my English, it took me years and years to get to the level I'm at right now. I you know, read a lot of books. I've been reading books for years, and that's how my English is kind of continuously getting better and better. That's how I'm learning new words in English. You can't expect to learn any language, even your mother tongue, without continuously, you know, exposing yourself to it. Like Farsi, Persian is my, you know, my mother tongue. The first language I learned, the language that my parents speak, is Farsi or Persian. And in many ways my English is better than my Farsi because I don't really read books in Farsi anymore. When we moved away from Iran, I was 15, and whilst I still, I can speak Farsi perfectly because I speak it to my parents, I speak it with my brother, I speak it to my best friend in Iran. I can read and write in Farsi, like I understand it, but I just haven't really read much in Farsi, so a lot of the big words, I guess, in Farsi, a lot of the beautiful kind of nuances that you see in every language, I don't really know much about Farsi because I don't read in it, and that's something that I need to change as well because it's such a great language. I want to try and read a bit more in Iranian. But yeah, with French, my ultimate goal is to be able to one day translate a book either from English to French, which will be more difficult, or from French to English, which will be easier, because obviously understanding French for me is a lot easier than, like, you know, reading something in English and then trying to translate that to French with like beautiful prose. That's obviously going to be harder. And also I definitely want to go and move to France one day. Not forever. I don't think I'll ever stay in one place forever. I'm not the kind of person. In fact, something that you should, or you shouldn't, you don't need to know this about me, but something that you might find interesting about me is that I hate the idea of being limited to one place. I just hate it, and I think it might be because of how I was grown up, because of how I was raised and how we moved about a lot. But the idea of just like buying a property and then like staying in that property, like with the idea that you're just going to be in that same location for the rest of your life, terrifies me. It like terrifies me so much. It makes me sad, because I'm like, you only get one life and the world is so big. Why would you limit yourself to this one place in this one location and then have that be the rest of your life? That's so sad to me. So yeah, I definitely don't see myself settling anywhere soon, especially not whilst I'm still young, because there's so many places I want to visit, there's so many places I want to live in, and like I said, France is one of them. Originally I was actually hoping to move to France this year, in 2021, but obviously with everything that happened last year, I feel like all my plans have kind of been delayed. So who knows, at some point in the next few years I would like to move to France for just a year. I mean, who knows, maybe a bit longer. It won't be forever, because like I said, there's so many other parts of the world that I want to live in and discover, that I'm not going to just say, oh, I'm going to move to France forever, exactly the same way that I can't say I want to live in England forever, because I don't, you know, there's other places I want to live in as well. But yeah, obviously to go and move to France and live there, I would like to be able to also work there, and to work there whilst, you know, I could easily work there because my French is fluent. I want my French to be so good that like I don't struggle with anything, and I know again that that's something that will come, you know, once I actually move there, because a lot of the things in a language you won't actually be able to get exposed to unless you live in that country and you actually speak to people on a regular basis. But speaking to my French teacher, her name is Christiane, has helped a lot, and it's something that I've been trying to improve, and it's a goal that I have for this year. For me, I want to make sure that I read in French more. This year, last year, I started reading the first Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in French, and I got about halfway through, and then I decided I want to focus on new books, not because I didn't want to, I wasn't enjoying the book, but because I just, you know, I wanted to read more new books, and, you know, my new books are all in English, so that's a problem, which means that this year I've actually now ordered a couple of books in French that I haven't read before. So whilst I love Harry Potter, it was just a bit repetitive to me. I know Harry Potter inside out. So now I've got a couple of new books in French that I'm gonna try and get to at some point this year. Hopefully that will help. I've also started doing a lot of other things like listening to the news in French and stuff. Again, I'm going to talk about all of this stuff in another video. But yeah, so my goals are like to improve my German and my French, and also Norwegian is a language that I've started on Duolingo. So obviously I finished my German tree back in February. Then I went through a phase of learning Spanish, and I actually learned Spanish from French. So I used the Duolingo. You can choose what your base language is. And I did that for a few months, and I realised my heart is not really in Spanish. I want to learn Norwegian. So I love Norwegian so much, and I want to be able to I would like to preferably have finished the Duolingo Norwegian tree by the end of the year. I think it should be possible, because I started the Norwegian tree back in October, I think, of last year, or September of October of last year. And with my German, it took me about a year to finish it, so hopefully it should take around the same time. I don't know. But yeah, those are my language goals. I realise I've just been rambling on about just languages for the past probably 10 minutes, but I love languages. I'm really interested in them. I have a big passion for them. I really do. If I could learn and speak all the languages in the world, I would, but unfortunately I don't think that's possible. These are really good. I'm actually going to try the sweet curry sauce as well, because so far I've just been trying the mayonnaise, which we all know I love, but let's try it with the sauce. This is the sauce. Like I said, I've never had this before. Okay, it's very curry-like. It's sweet, apparently, because it's called sweet curry sauce. It's not a Katsu curry sauce though, so this should be interesting. Let's do a little. There you go. Let's try this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of this. It's too sweet. I don't like sweet sauces. I'm gonna try a bit more though. Yeah, it's not for me. I think it kind of ruins what this chicken's about. It takes the taste away, and I love the taste of the chicken as it is. Obviously mayo's different, because to me mayo just adds beauty. But yeah, not a fan of them. I'm sorry. I feel like if they'd made a chicken katsu curry sauce specifically for this, it would have been much better. So McDonald's, maybe you should think of doing that next year. I know these are limited editions, so they're not going to be around forever. Unfortunately, because if they were, I would buy them every time I order from McDonald's. Anyway, yeah, so apart from the languages that I want to focus on a lot this year, I also want to try and read 50 books again. Last year I finally, after 10 years, a decade of, you know, giving myself this challenge every single year to read 50 books, in a year, 50 new books. I managed to read not only 50 books but actually 90 books, so almost double my original goal, and it was great. It was one of the reasons why I got through 2020, I would say. I read so many great books. It kept me busy, it kept me happy, and I want to continue that in 2021. So I've set myself a goal of 50 again. If I pass it, that's great, but 50 is going to be like my main goal. By the way, if you're interested in what books I read last year, I'm going to make a whole video coming up soon talking about all the 90 books I read, and, you know, maybe giving some tips on how to read more and everything. So yeah, those videos will be coming up soon. Also, healthy eating. I'm not gonna lie, I say this as I'm, you know, eating chicken nuggets from McDonald's with a lot of mayo, which definitely isn't healthy, but very tasty. But let's be honest, healthy eating, not only is it important, it's also good. I have tried hard in the past couple of years to eat slightly better. I've been intermittent fasting since the middle of 2019, I would say, so about a year and a half now. I do OMAD most days, which means I only have 1 meal a day. OMAD basically stands for 1 meal a day. This is going to be my 1 meal of the day. So even though I'm eating quite a lot, you know, like 20 chicken nuggets, that's a lot, especially with the large fries, I don't feel bad about it because it's my only meal of the day, and I won't feel bad about it later either, because even though right now I'm like, oh, it's a bit too much and I'm starting to get full, I know that very soon in the next few hours I'll start to feel better once I just stop eating, full stop, until, you know, the next day. Research into it, don't just take my word for it. Like, there's a lot of great benefits of fasting, and you won't know about them until you research, so do that. But yeah, I want to, you know, eat healthier as well, not just, you know, intermittent fasting, but also eat healthier, because unfortunately the truth is that whenever I do eat healthier, I feel better. Like, it's just a fact. So whilst I'm never gonna say I'm not gonna eat like McDonald's and stuff, I love treating myself. Yeah, I just want to be a bit more aware of it, which is something that I've been trying to do for the past couple of years anyway. I just want to continue doing that. I also want to keep up with my walking. Last year in October, and if you haven't watched the vlog for that, I'll leave it down below, because it was probably my, not even probably, it was definitely my biggest achievement of 2020. I did a 30-kilometer walk from my grandma for charity, and I raised about £600, I think, which was way more than I expected to. And I think the Just Giving page is still open, so if you guys still want to donate, you can. It's for Alzheimer's Society, a very, very good charity. And yeah, it was a difficult walk, 30 kilometers in one go, really hard, and much more of a challenge than I thought it was. Even though I'm so used to like walking 5 kilometers a day, 30 kilometers, 6 times the length of that, was hard. But yeah, I enjoy walking. I've loved walking for the past few years. I want to continue doing that. I really want to get back into running. So I did, what's it called? Couch to 5K. I started doing that in 2019, 2 years ago now. And I got about halfway through, and then I don't know what happened. In fact, I was about to say I don't know what happened. My channel got hacked. My YouTube channel, the channel you're watching me on right now, it got hacked, and it threw me in a very weird way of, like, I was basically depressed. I just didn't know what to do with myself for a while, and I think because of that I stopped doing things that I was in the middle of doing. I was also in the middle of cleaning my room. My room is very untidy. It has been for a while. Again, a video about that will come up at some point, maybe this year or next year. But yeah, I kind of stopped doing anything after that. And yeah, I need to go back to it. I want to go back into it because I was really enjoying my progress with running. I never used to run before doing Couch to 5K. I used to hate it, and Couch to 5K really helped me, but I never finished it. And I could have finished it because I was doing well. So I want to try and do that again. I'm probably going to wait until it gets a bit warmer in London, because at the moment I don't really leave my house much. Also, we're in a lockdown in London right now, so not even just in London, I think the whole of the UK is in lockdown. So I very rarely leave the house. In fact, I was telling my friend Rebecca the other day, I haven't left my house since the 20th of December. Today is the 7th of January, so about 2.5 weeks ago was the last time I physically left my flat. So yeah, I should probably go out at some point, because I don't think this is really healthy for you. It's good to at least leave your house once a week, I would say. Even if we're in a lockdown, you can still go for a walk, and I haven't done that for about 2 weeks. What else? I would of course love to go back to Disneyland Paris. Not just once, but several times. That would be the preferable situation. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I would like to hope that in the second half of this year, things will get better. Disneyland Paris at the moment is meant to be reopening on the 12th of February. I don't know if it actually will or not. I don't know what the situation is like in France. I know France has had like a spike in some cases as well, so I don't know if they'll be allowed to open or reopen next month. Initially, I really wanted to go back for the reopening, but at the moment, obviously, we're in lockdown in the UK, so I don't even know if that's going to be possible. I don't think I will. I think I'm going to wait until maybe April time, March or April time, to go back to Disneyland Paris if I can. I would really like to go to Disneyland Paris with my friend Rebecca, because we've been wanting to do that for a while now. We planned to go last November, and obviously it didn't happen because number one, Disneyland Paris closed, number two, we went under lockdown again in the UK. So yeah, it's been annoying, obviously, but I also understand that in the grand scheme of things it really doesn't matter. In fact, one thing that I learned last year is that it really doesn't matter if I don't get to go to Disney as often, or if I don't get to see theatre shows as often. It's fine, I miss it, but it's not a big deal. I can survive without them. But I would love to go back to Disneyland Paris with my friend Rebecca at some point, maybe in the Christmas season later on in the year. I also have a trip booked with another friend. I'm not gonna say where because I kind of want it to be a surprise if I do get to go, but it's currently booked for March. I don't think it will happen. We've both decided we're going to wait until a bit closer to the time to see what we can do about it. It's somewhere in Europe, nothing far, but it's very likely that we're going to have to postpone it to later in the year. But I'm just hoping that we get to go at some point this year in 2021. It would be lovely if we can go on this trip in some part of Europe, because we've both wanted to go for a long time, she especially. So that would be great. Japan is not going to happen this year. I don't think it is. Even if it does, I'm not going to be focusing on going this year. A lot of you might know that I had booked to go to Japan last May with a friend, and I'd booked almost everything. We'd booked the flights, we'd booked the hotels, we'd booked Disneyland Tokyo, Tokyo Disneyland. I was so excited, and obviously pandemic stopped everything. But yeah, I think we're going to wait another year or so for that. In terms of traveling, I think I just want to be able to also go to Austria. I haven't seen my granddad and my aunt and cousin. They live in Austria, Vienna. Haven't seen them. I haven't seen my granddad in over a year now. I last saw him in December of 2019 when I was in Vienna. My aunt and cousin I haven't seen since February of last year when I went to Disney World with them. That's still something that I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful that we managed to go to Disney World just before this whole madness happened. But yeah, I would love to go back to Vienna and just be able to see my granddad safely. He's obviously over the age of 80, I think he's about 86, so he should be getting the vaccine soon. I know that the scheme is slightly different in Vienna with the vaccines. Obviously the population of Austria is also smaller than the UK, so hopefully he should be able to get it soon. And hopefully the vaccine just generally will help this world come back to some kind of normality and safety at some point. That's more or less it, you know. I think I also want to write more. I started writing a collection of essays last year. I have this idea for a book that I want to write at some point, or I want to start writing it now, but I obviously don't know when or if it will ever get published. But obviously because I had so much time on my hands last year, I started with this concept of a book, and I want to continue with that. I want to write more, not even necessarily just for that book, but I just want to keep writing. I love writing. I have been reading and loving reading for so many years, and I have friends who love writing. I have a friend who's actually a phenomenal writer herself. So I love good writing. I get inspired by beautiful prose and beautiful writing. There's nothing I hate more than like bad, lousy writing. Even with the books that I read, I'm so specific on the writing. I don't like basic writing. I can't stand it. I know it's probably not a big deal to most people, but it makes my heart happy when I read a sentence that has just been structured so beautifully. It makes my heart happy. It speaks to my soul. A sentence that has been structured in a beautiful and specific way just speaks to me much better than a sentence that is just basic, like I love chicken nuggets, which I do, but only the katsu curry ones. Anyway, more than anything this year, I just hope that my family, my friends and loved ones are all going to be safe and healthy and happy. I really hope I get to see my loved ones. A lot of my friends I really miss. Obviously with the pandemic, I just didn't get to see many people last year. I only really got to see my friends who live in London, and even with them I only got to see them a handful of times. I miss how easy it used to be to see friends, and a lot of my close friends actually don't live in London. They live all around the UK, or you know, in different parts of the world, some of them. So I really hope that as the year goes on and more people get vaccinated, it will become easier to see friends, and not just see them, but to hug them and just enjoy life with them. So a lot of my, especially like I said, the friends that don't live in London that I haven't seen in about a year, some of them, it would be lovely if I get to see them at some point this year. And yeah, that's kind of it. Leave me comments down below and let me know what your goals are, if you have any. You don't have to. Don't ever put pressure on yourself, especially at a time like this. If you feel like you just want to chill and just try and get through this madness that we're in, that's absolutely fine as well. Like, one of my biggest goals is to pay more attention to my mental health, because I didn't have a great year last year. It was awful, especially in like May and June. I'll talk about this at some point as well. It was terrible. It was the lowest I've ever been, and I don't want to get back there again. It was a terrifying situation. I'm still not doing phenomenal, I'm not gonna lie, but better than I was, and I want to continue getting better. And yeah, I think that's the main thing at the end of the day. As long as you're healthy both physically and mentally, that's all you can really wish for. And you know, if your loved ones can be healthy with you, that's even better. So that has been the end of this video. I've got one katsu curry nugget to finish. I am going to miss these a lot because, like I said, I don't like the normal nuggets in McDonald's. I never order them, whereas these ones I would literally order anytime I go to McDonald's from now on. It's just unfortunate that they're not going to be around for long, apparently. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Also, let me know if you've tried these yet, and if you have, what you think of them. I hope you enjoyed this very chilled style of video. I enjoyed it anyway. It felt like just eating with a friend, you know. So I will see you in the next video. Follow me on Instagram if you want to. Bye bye.